you fade away, as you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby I have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away, as you fade away.
Welcome from my living room on this Saturday evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you are. Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing? I'm doing all right. Long time no see, babes, huh? But I was a little bit ill last week, so I had to reschedule, postpone that live stream, and also been working a lot, in my normal day job. But yeah, I'm back. I'm fully prepared to go live again. And let's see what the future will bring, right? I have some interesting guests on here tonight as well. Um, Hi, KH. Thank you. Oh, look. This pearl necklace I got from a very, very good friend, KH. Thank you so much. Your package is on the way, by the way. Good to see you guys here. I have a massive delay on StreamYard, like always, right? So who do we have here? Thank you for my moderators, by the way. Adrienne, Ellison, Angie, Annie, Brenda Bella, Carrie, Claudia, Craftastic, Cynthia, Debbie, Frognado, Goodnight Owl, Jog Girl, Cage, Catherine, Kelly Searches Answers, Lavender Blue, Lisa, Martin, Michelle, Missy Cat, Nonofin, none your business. Hi, girl. Penny, Rebecca, and everyone who's joining us tonight. So, what are we gonna do back at the Watts case, right? Hi, Maria, and everyone who I forgot or is just joining. Hello, welcome. So, we're back at the Watts case, and after this live stream, you probably think I lost my marbles, like totally, completely. Hi, a newcomer from Ireland, Sinead? Do I pronounce your name correctly? I don't know. I'm a foreigner. You can mail me stuff at tanyajamescr@gmail.com if my moderators would be so kind and put my email in chat, please. So, anyways, nice to see you all. We're back at the Watts case. And like I said, probably many of you guys think I'm totally losing my marbles after this live stream, but we're looking at all aspects of the case, right? And some stuff just does not add up, right? With all the weird searches, I mean, I always had the feeling that, the searches he did, like the Dioptase and stuff like that, he's not the type of person who is looking for that kind of stuff by himself, right? He needs somebody. Hi, Mary. He needs somebody, leading him, telling him about certain things because, I mean, I don't know him personally, but from, conversations with his family and stuff, I wouldn't think that he comes up with that stuff on his own or by himself, right? So what are we going to do tonight? I'm going to show you my thoughts on Sinister stuff that, yeah, basically it was a team effort between me and my moderators. Everybody did something and contributed something to that presentation. I hope it's not too boring, but maybe you think, oh no, I'm not watching this. It's way too far out, but it's worth a thought, and maybe something else comes from this. I mean, maybe, we find out more, or there are people watching this who are actually, I wouldn't say doing witchcraft or stuff like that, but who are having experience with that kind of stuff, right? So I'm going to remove my face real quick, and we're getting right into the presentation. Window. Oh my God, I'm so not used to this anymore. So we see the puppet master. Oh, I'm gonna make this bigger. There you go. So I changed everything to German, so just disregard all the cryptic stuff that says on here or on top. We're going to talk about the puppet master today. Was Chris Watts a puppet master, or was someone else the puppet master for him, right? So, before I start and get into the really, really weird stuff, I just want to show you something that is important to me. I just came across this when I did this presentation or prepared this presentation for today. Um, it's just really weird. So, first of all, the July 7th was all mixed up, right? We know that because I put all the timeline, timestamps in order. So, if you ever watched my timeline of death, you will see that July 7th was totally mixed up. It starts with 5 p.m., then goes to 6:44, then goes to 7:19, and then goes to 6:01 again. So, this is totally wrong. Anyways, so on July the 6th, right, at 6:52, after Shanann told Watts to call Vivint before I flip, quote unquote, Watts advised, they are sending a sensor for the garage door. I tried moving it like they said, and it didn't work. So we know from Mr. Rusek's statement in his interview that the garage door sensor did not work for a long time, right? So why was this July 6th all of a sudden so important that he is repairing the garage door sensor? Makes no sense to me. But maybe it will be on my live stream we're gonna be doing next week, Friday, when we go through all the witnesses who lied a little bit. I mean, not a little bit, but I'm gonna be looking deeply into what NA says with the help of Dave G, because he forwarded me some documents and I wanna be talking about this with you guys next week. All right, let's move on. July the 7th at 6:01 p.m., Watts' phone locked coordinates at the Orchard Town Center. I confirmed a rusty bucket is at this location, 14613 Orchard Parkway, right? So, first glance, nothing suspicious about this, but something suspicious about this. First of all, they know what exact location he locked on July the 7th. If you remember, when I showed you the coordinates and the significant location he had on his phone, we didn't get all the detailed report on where his phone was, right? So why are they giving us the exact location on where his phone locked the coordinates at the Orchard Town Center, right? So that makes me suspicious because they know the exact location. They just don't want to give it to us. So why don't they want to give it to us? They can say, oh, he's been at Survey 319 in the morning, right? But they won't show it to us, which makes me think there's some sort of freaking cover up, right? So 6:44, Watts' phone connected with a router at the Crushed Red restaurant. I confirmed one is located at 14643 Orchard Parkway. So this was all in the area, that Orchard Parkway. So with this statement, out of the discovery, everything is out of the discovery, we know all of a sudden that they also have the connections he ever made to the routers with his phone, but they don't give it to us, right? Same thing with the significant locations or coordinates. They just simply don't give it to us. They give us little breadcrumbs. So when a phone connects, and you might know that based on your phone or personal experience, if your phone connects to a router, let's say at McDonald's or at Burger King or whatnot, right? Or Starbucks, you've been there before. Otherwise, your phone would not connect to their router, right? Using the free Wi-Fi and all that kind of stuff. So unless he just connected to their router, using free Wi-Fi and connecting, there's no way that he's never been there. So his phone recognized the restaurant crushed red. Same here at 7:19. I mean, they did not have a meal from 6:44 to 7:19. I mean, that's a bit tight time-wise, right? But same here. What's phone connected with a router at a rusty bucket? Bucket. I think it's the restaurant is called Rusty Bucket Restaurant. Same with here. If he wasn't there before, then he must have logged into their free Wi-Fi just now, right? Okay, but that just aside, I just wanted to show you guys that they do have all the data, they have everything, but they don't want to give it to us. And if they go into detail, like on July the 6th and the 7th, don't you think they would go into detail even more on the 12th, the 13th, the 14th, or the 11th, or the 10th? Right? So they bullshitting us. All right. Before I get into this, I want to just say, this is what I'm presenting, and what my guests are going to present is just a possibility. I'm not saying it occurred like that, right? I'm not saying this was a ritual. I'm not saying this has anything to do with religion or witchcraft or any religion in this world. But it's very, very suspicious on what went on, right? So, July 14th, after spending the day with NK and several phone calls with her, and keep that in mind, I did not put all their phone calls in this presentation. So always keep in mind, after he is searching, or when he is searching something, there was a phone conversation or a meeting or whatnot with NK before those searches, right? Okay, so it's 6:14, July the 14th. Watts spent nearly 2 hours online searching Dave Bunk Minerals, a mineral dealer located in Arvada, and Dioptase, an emerald-colored mineral. Those of you who have seen my documentary, Into the Abyss, know I did a lengthy explanation on Dave Bunk Minerals, or Dioptase. And I'm going to show you again. So why would you use Dioptase, or what is Dioptase for, right? Dioptase is a stone of forgiveness and letting go of past wrongs. In essence, it is the physical embodiment of the old adage that being angry is like poisoning yourself and hoping the other person dies. Weird, no? Dioptase will help you come to terms with the fact that whatever anger you are carrying around with you because of past wrongs will only end up injuring you rather than the people that you are angry at. So, to look up Dioptase, he must have felt anger. And now look at the date, July the 14th, right? This was all after the Nutgate scandal. So he's looking up Dioptase. Do I think Chris Watts knows about Dioptase and crystals and their use or what they mean? No, I don't. I think that, and Kay told him, was a geologist. She was into gemstones and all that crystal stuff, performing satya and all that stuff. So often we can feel as though life itself is out to get us in some way, or that we have been cheated out of those things that we really worked hard for. Remember when he said, "You wouldn't even let me hang a picture frame up," right? And this comes all to mind when I read those things. Why did he look up certain things? Why was he angry? Who was he angry at? And obviously, he was angry at Jeanette. We might look around us and see that others have the life we dreamed of, or have to sacrifice our needs and wants for some greater good. So, you can wear dioptase as a crystal around your neck. You can put it in your pocket, pants pocket, so it like it says, it's a stone of forgiveness, and it will make you forgive easier and let go of things that did you wrong in the past, right? So a little attempt to, forget about the things that happened. Also, dioptase dust is very toxic, and due to its content of copper, although crushed dioptase is often used as a pigment for paintings. So yes, dioptase is very expensive. Anyways, some people crush it, some people cook it. And I learned recently, because I said, with that green tea, because he told his mom, she gave me these drinks, those green drinks. So what I learned recently is that dioptase, when you cook it or put it into hot water, it will fall apart, right? So the dust and the scatter of, it's completely gonna be scattered. So, and that is the toxic. So you can easily poison someone with the right amount. Okay. So then a day later, July the 15th, 8:35, Watts took 3 photographs from an Anadarko Corporate office in Platteville, one of which was a sunflower near what appears to be his work truck. And now this would not be the last time he took photographs of flowers. I suspect he took these 4 and shared them with Kessinger. She has an affinity with flora and had a wide assortment of flower pictures in her phone. So what does that tell us? She had a wide assortment of flower pictures in her phone. They did search her phone thoroughly. Not only what they give to us, they searched her phone thoroughly. And then after that, 1226 to 1228, he does 15, 16 searches, 16, 21 searches on Dave Bunk minerals. So this is what is keeping him, it's on his mind. Dave Bunk minerals, especially dioptase, that's on his mind. So, did that. So here we have Miss Kessinger. What do sunflowers symbolize? And this picture actually is taken somewhere near Anadarko. Really weird. But we're getting into the sunflowers later on, a little bit deeper on when we talk about the moon and stuff like that. Using sunflowers in fertility magic. And when my guest Catherine comes on later, she will explain to you why magic is spelled with CK instead of C. Are you looking to conceive a baby? Fertility rituals are another popular use for this plant. Some who wish to conceive will eat sunflower seeds on a waxing moon. You can also use fertility magic when you want to conceive of anything, whether it be a dream vacation or a creative project, otherwise known as a brainchild. Adding the petals to your bath or the essence to your drinking water can help you pull in more that procreative energy. Put seeds in a mojo bag, whatever that is, with other fertility tokens to have a handy lucky charm. The seeds can also be placed under your bed to give your fertility a boost. Wear a crown or necklace of dried sunflowers at Lida, whatever that is, for an added oomph to your fertility magic. So the sunflowers, and that is taken from a witchcraft website. So in witchcraft, they use sunflowers for fertility magic. Magical uses for sunflowers: finding happiness, promote healing, recognition, fertility, confidence and courage, prosperity. Right? Confidence and courage also. So here, Miss Kessinger he sent her always sunflower images. So let's move on. July the 17th. Here again, a day later, 10:12 to 10:46. So he spent 1.5 hours to take images of trees and grassland flowers in an open prairie just north of Roggen. So he spends quite some time taking photographs of flowers, grassland, sunflowers, and all that kinds of stuff. So then I found a little side note. So on July the 26th, I just wanted to show you guys this because I came across this today. At 11:28, Shanann called Watson. They held a 6-minute conversation. After that, Watts searched Google for GIT. So I was under the impression that GIT is some sort of a computer software, right? And my mind was wandering off into the sphere of, he manipulated his router or whatnot. But GIT as a word, and that's from Google, GIT as a word is an alternation of the word get, which itself was shortened from begged. The implicit reference is to illegitimate offspring, and the term is roughly synonymous with twit, dolt, moron, or idiot. Why do I say this? Because I think that Shanann called him git or jit, right? They holding a conversation for 6 minutes, and then after that, he's looking that up. So, I mean, it could be, it could not be, but it's kind of like obvious because he looks that up out of the blue and never after. So, in my opinion, she called him that word. So, 2 days later, again, spending several hours, Watts took assorted photographs of the landscape at the Great Sand Dunes. July 28th, they went to the sand dunes, right? And he's taking photographs of the landscape again. So landscape and nude pictures, that was his thing, or their thing. A day later, he spends again over an hour taking photographs of landscape near the Great Sand Dunes. Unfortunately, we don't know what kind of pictures he took, but I would assume, same as he took out in Roggen or sending her sunflowers. Then here we all know on August the 2nd at 5:41, Watts transferred this image into his secret calculator application. So, one other note. Why would he put this into his secret calculator application? So I thought it must have something to do with stones, with ritualistic stuff, with, healing and all that crap she was into, right? So otherwise, he has no reason to hide that, because if Shanann would have ever come across this image, he could have said, I was looking at a necklace for you. Yeah, it is cheap. It is cheap, but who cares, right? What I was thinking, I mean, I cannot really, it's getting pixelated so bad when I zoom in, but it looks like one of these brownish pendants, crystals, right? Brown crystals, they represent stability. A dabbler. Yeah. And when you wear it, it helps you make healthy decisions. Also, rejuvenation. But that just aside, because I thought this definitely looks like one of these brown crystals, these pendants you can buy. So as you can see, it's definitely some sort of a stone. He was definitely into this stuff. Was he into this stuff because of her? I don't know. But he would have probably not looked at stuff like that if she didn't tell him about those certain crystals and what they actually can do, in my opinion. Why is the quality of the picture so bad? Well, you have to ask Will County. All right. Then I had a little talk, and I'm getting into this a little bit later. It just fits the timeline because it's August the 6th. I had a little talk with a psychiatrist recently. And what she is saying is when people want a new beginning, I'm not saying this happens all the time, or we do that, or any of us do that. But sometimes people, if they crave for a new beginning and a new life, they get rid of things, right? For example, if you see that often when somebody is very ill, for example, they get rid of their stuff. They don't want to leave anything for their children to clean out the house. And there's also people who erase or remove images. They cut themselves out sometimes. They destroy pictures. And it's a, I don't even know how to explain it, but you're craving for a new beginning. So you're leaving the old behind. And this has something to do with his state of mind at that time. At 8:41 at his parents' house, Watts took photographs of various images inside his parents' home, verified through metadata coordinates. They included his family portrait. So, as I said here, erasing existence or old life. So he is thinking, I don't know if I can explain that as good as the, oh shit, sorry, got the address, but yeah. I don't know if I can explain it as good as a psychiatrist, But he is craving for family life. He's craving for stability. He's craving for love. This is what you can see when he's taking, or this is a possibility he's doing here, because he takes several pictures of his family from their picture frames they have up in their home. So, you know what I mean? He's craving all that. But on the other hand, he also wants to erase himself or remove his old life. He has a craving for also removing his old life. And people tend to, when they start something new, they tend to delete all their Facebook accounts, their social media in general. You cannot reach them anymore under their old phone number, stuff like that. This is what people are doing if in that state of mind, kind of, right? And you can see that here at 1:50, Ronnie Watts asked if Watts deleted his Facebook account, and Watts replied, "Yes, sir, liberated myself." And not only did he delete his Facebook account, on this day he logged into Instagram. What else did he have? Some other social media accounts. He deleted all of this. So he basically erased his old life. But what he was craving is his family life, stability. Then, August the 12th, Shanann asked Watts to send her some pictures of the girls. I missed them. He sends her the infamous pictures of the girls, the one of the last pictures where you can see the girls alive. Twitter's still up, none of your business? All right. You gotta send me the link on my email. I did not know that. But what was it? Instagram and Snapchat or something? Yeah, no, I think it really was him. 10:32, and roughly 10-12 minutes later, Watts searched Google for Mount Colima. He preserved an image of the volcano spewing lava and smoke. So, and I was thinking, what in God's name would him make searching for volcanoes, right? Right after he's taking the pictures of the girls. Right after that. This is what I found out. What search Google for Mount Colima, which is in Mexico. This is Mount Colima, or the volcano Colima. It has a weird name like or something. I can't even spell it. But if you Google it, Mount Colima or Volcano Colima, it will come up, and it's named after the town or something around it. So this is what the people who live there actually say about Mount Colima. The old people have a deep respect and fear towards the volcano, said Juan Martinez de la Rosa, General Director of the National Institute for Anthropology and History of Colima. In pre-Hispanic times, the people of Colima had a feeling of wonder and respect towards the volcano. They presented offerings to it as if it were a god, said Martinez, while showing EFE the archaeological remains of La Campana National Park. So around that volcano is a national park. The volcano was the center of culture, with its own rituals and ways of life of this area, where La Campana National Park is now located. The oldest remains of the pre-Hispanic findings date back 3,500 years with no reliable evidence of the human sacrifices made to the volcano. So there were human sacrifices made back then. There is no precise data, but they are known to have existed. There is a Mictlan, the underworld, with its 9 levels, and a plaza that indicated the sacrifices. Sacrifice as a way of relating to the fury of the volcano in Colima continues to this day in the form of the Plaza de Toros. So there were sacrifices made at this volcano, sacrifices in human sacrifices. So what did they talk about? I told you in the beginning, everything he's searching, there was a talk between them or messages between them beforehand, right? So he's talking with her. All of a sudden, he's looking up Mount Colima. Very weird to me. Then at 3:56, we know he's still at the birthday party. Shanann asked if the girls had fun at the party. Watt said they were still there and they were having fun. Shanann replied, "Good, I'm glad. Okay, love you." Watts did not respond. At 4:56, he's searching for Parikudin, another volcano, also in Mexico. This is the volcano Parikutin. I hope I pronounced that right. It has like a crate, and it's not active anymore. It was last active, I believe, in the 50s, or the last time active in the 50s, but you never know, right? So he is searching Google for that particular volcano. And now this is what represents what a volcano represents in Wiccan, pagan, witchcraft. These are different types of religion, but they're very, very, very similar, right? So volcanoes, what are they representing? Calming or energizing, depending on your state of life at the moment, right? If you're angry, it might be calm you down, or if you are at a loss of energy, it might give you your energy back. We don't know. But in the state of mind Chris was in, I think, and you will notice as we move forward, I think it was more the aggressive way of view, if you will, in my opinion, of course. So it can be calming or energizing, peaceful or violent, passive or aggressive. A volcano represents something is coming to the surface. A volcano represents assertiveness, combativeness, sudden change, aggression, regeneration, the ending of a cycle and the beginning of another, shift, a new birth. So with everything he looked up and searched for, like Dioptase, taking these pictures of his family in their home, erasing himself from all social media, you can see it's like, I wouldn't say a pattern, but you can kind of like see the state of mind, right? He's craving for a change. He's craving for ending a cycle and the beginning of another. Probably also because he met NK, who, in my opinion, showed him all that crap, right? That's Mount Parikutin. So right after he's searching Parikutin at 4:56, keep in mind, he is not at home. His data reveals, his router reveals, his phone reveals, he's not at home at the time he's looking up the volcano. If I remember correctly, One of the Lindstroms said that he left it between 4 and 4:30, give or take 5, 10, 15 minutes. He definitely was not at the birthday party anymore when he looked that volcano up, right? We know that. So what's weird is right after that, and he does two searches, timeline 7704, 7705. So he's searching twice something in reference to Parikudin. 10 minutes later, we don't know how long these searches were. But 10 minutes later, with his work phone, Watts told Cody Roberts, I have the whip checks for the Serby 629. I'm gonna go straight out there from my house in the morning. I will look at the 319 as well and run the 1129 if you want. So, what the heck was he thinking? You know, as I said in my previous live streams all over and over and over and over again, he does everything for a reason. Something is in his head and he's looking it up. So, what made him think to call or text Cody right after he's searching for that volcano? Right? It's really, really weird. A minute later, he calls Mrs. Rusek. That's also weird. You know? But yeah, that topic we're gonna go into a different day. I just find it very weird. So, and also between 4:56 you can see here and 5:07 he does 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He does 7 more searches we don't know of. Item 41, his personal phone. He does 7 more searches in a span of 11 minutes we don't know of, right? So entry 7706 to entry 7710 are missing. So God knows what he did. Did he text? Did he call somebody else? Did he call NK? This is the Saturday off, right? Or the Sunday? No, the Saturday? Sunday? Can't even remember. So at 5:20, Roberts replied, I was going to head out there first thing tomorrow to check out the 319. Did Troy talk to you about what I had found out there Friday afternoon, right? And we know all the fire stick bullshit comes up now. And yeah, I was standing right next to him. You know, these contradicting statements. I still do not believe that there was a meeting ever. And I still do not believe that there ever existed a freaking fire stick, to be honest with you. So, and they going back and forth. You know, Roberts doesn't really want to. Yeah, but I can go. And no, he insists. I'm going. All right, then you go. Weird. After searching for the volcano twice that day, or 3 or 4 times that day, when he is not at home, evidently. So where is he? Where is he at 5:06? Where is he at 5:07? And where is he at 5:20? Like I said previously, and I'm, drifting off a little bit, but I have to say it again. If one of his phones, either work phone or personal phone, wouldn't have connected to the home router, I would say, all right, it's a glitch of some sort. But they both didn't connect. So unless he had them in the car or whatever he did, right? He wasn't at home. First time he connects is 9 p.m. or shortly after 9 p.m. All right, 6:47. We're still on that same day. August the 12th. There you go, Sunday. A photo of 4 chicken breasts on a barbecue grill was created in his image file. So now, Oh, I got a bad comment. If I say so one more time, I'm gonna get it. Or, yeah, that was a nasty comment, but it's just I say so and right and now, and I say that all the time. So either take it or leave it. It comes with me. So, see? So, um, what I found out might be a little bit off, you know, totally off my rocker, probably, but I'm going to show you anyway. The photo was created in his image file, the same as he preserved an image of the volcano spewing lava and smoke. Okay, so he did not take a photo of 4 chicken breasts on a barbecue grill. And Betty did not say that in her interview either. Re-listen to it. She is not saying it. She's not saying that she saw him grilling chicken or whatever, or having a barbecue. She's saying something completely different. So this is taken out of context because people thought always, oh, Betty saw him having a barbecue in the backyard. So by 6:47, he must have been at home. No, he wasn't. He created an image file in his, or took a screenshot even, of an image barbecue grill with 4 chicken breasts on it. So I could not find anything in the Wiccan or pagan that represents chicken breast, right? I found chicken feet and bones and stuff like that. And I found dead chicken as overall dead chicken. And it represents parts, dead chicken or parts, symbolic, represents reincarnation and heaven. So that means a dead chicken in general. Also, when you dream about chicken stuff, it represents reincarnation and heaven. So now, this comes up. So I was looking a little bit into the Bible as well. So at 6:47, he's creating that image file into his image folder. And I found out this is called biblical and Anchester grill or Ancestor grill or something like that. So I'm reading you guys something of the Bible, and this is actually an image representing that. And you see the moon in the background, and we're getting to that. We're getting to that. And it will all make sense in the end. Okay, I hope I can pronounce this. And thou shalt make an altar of shittim wood, 5 cubits long and 5 cubits broad. The altar shall be 4 square, and the height thereof shall be 3 cubits. The feet is next to it. And thou shalt make the horns of it upon the 4 concerns thereof. His horns shall be of the same, and thou shalt overlay it with brass. From Exodus 27, 1-2. So you guys can look that up yourself. So I found a little comment to this biblical verse or proverb or what it is. The construction of the brazen altar in Exodus 27, 1-8. Looking at the brazen altar of the tabernacle and the types of sacrifices, the animals were not slain on the altar, but were killed at the entrance. Unlike pagan altars, there was no image of God to worship. The bodies of the animals were flayed, cut in pieces, and grilled on the altar, depending on the type of offering. So you guys, does it make sense now that he looked up barbecue chicken breast on a barbecue grill? Does it make some sense? And look at this image. That's actually a painting in stone or carved in stone or something. They found that for chicken breast. Right. I no longer like chicken. See the moon, you know, this is the grill representing the altar, right? To worship something. But as it says, unlike the pagan altars, there was no image of God to worship. So what image was it they worshipped? Right? I mean, I don't understand everything, but I do like understand a little bit of it. So what I'm telling you is look at the friggin' moon. The grill sacrificing chicken breast. Does it make sense so far? I hope so. 526. What searched Google for the Dead Sea Scrolls? NK had to be reminded. Oh, I still have that. Nobody says anything. I still have that ticker on. Just saw. Let me just get rid of this real quick. There you go. She had to be reminded by her daddy that she's been to the museum on Sunday. So I looked it up. It could be right. She could have been there because they are talking about the Dead Sea Scrolls and an IMAX he wanted to go to so badly, but he never saw an IMAX in ages. But 2 weeks prior or a week prior, they went to see Jurassic Park in an IMAX. So to me, that's absolute bullshit, and that sounds like an alibi made up. Anyways, so they're talking about the Dead Sea Scrolls, and I looked it up, and there was an exhibition of the Dead Sea Scrolls at that time in Denver Museum. So the Dead Sea Scrolls, for everyone who does not know, is a number of leather and copper scrolls dating from 100 before Christ to 135, containing partial texts of some of the books of the Old Testament and some non-biblical scrolls in Hebrew and Aramaic, and including apocryptical writings, commentaries, hymns, and psalms found in caves near the northwest coast of the Dead Sea, beginning in 1947. So, if she goes to the museum to see that biblical stuff, why wouldn't she be into that biblical stuff? I mean, if I'm not interested in biblical stuff, or in God, or in religion, or in stuff like that in general, I wouldn't go to see a museum, right? So she was definitely into this stuff, if she was there. But that just aside. So, religion, crystals, cryptic lookups of volcanoes and grilled chicken breasts. And as I said, don't take it for granted as a fact, right? Don't take this as a fact. It's just my opinion and what I read into this. Then we get into the night of the murder. Side note, between 1:48 and 4:23, there was no movement detected on the main floor of the home by Vivint. Then CW left for work. So what does that tell me? Between 1:48 and 4:23, they got out of the basement window, and he did not come back home before 4:23 when he opened that basement door. It's evident because there was no movement whatsoever. So his story with I'm going up the stairs or she's going down the stairs and I'm getting ready for work and I pack my lunch and all that crap is a lie. He was not in on the main floor before 4:23. And you do not have sex and a talk and crying and all that stuff an hour and kill someone in an hour. It's just not doable. Well, I never, murdered anyone, but I'm just saying it's pretty tight time-wise. CW did not search anything sinister at Survey 319, with one exception. He took a picture of his work laptop and sent it to NK. Probably the oil levels. Because Troy McCoy says, the oil levels, and we get the data on our work laptops in the morning from Steve Oriarty or what his name is, right? You can listen to this in his interview. So why did he not search for anything sinister at Survey 319? That's my question. Was he disturbed by something? Did he do something to have no time to search for anything? But that changes when he arrives at the 1029. And by that, I want to go into the battery a little bit. He looked that up, battery. And I was reading, I think it was a blog or some website today. And they're saying, did I make a screenshot of this? Of course I didn't. Well, what they're saying on that website is there are different versions of the song Battery. There's one version where you can hear in the start, it's like a little solo guitar playing. And they're saying repeatedly, are you alive? How does it feel to be alive? Are you alive? How does it feel to be alive? Before the song actually starts. So, 1010. During a respite following the murder of his family and disposing of their bodies at a desolate well site, Watt searched Google for the lyrics to Battery by Metallica. I think I don't have to read this to you. You guys can take a screenshot and read it later for yourself. But in his statement, CW says NK asked him for the Battery song lyrics, so he was looking them up. I do not believe that he was looking them up without a reason or because she asked him to. Maybe she did ask him to, the song Battery or listen to it or whatnot. Maybe he did also listen to it. We don't have all his searches and details. As you can see here, 7793 to 7798. I mean, you guys, if I put that once in Google, song lyrics Battery by Metallica, I get it right away. I don't have to do 6 or 7 searches on that. So I think he might have been listening to it. Battery, that song actually was named after a little nightclub in Battery Street. I already forgot where it was. But yeah, the band themselves, they say, everybody reads into whatever they feel like reading into at that moment in time. So if you're aggressive, it will make you more aggressive. If you're just looking for fun and banging your head a little bit, then do that, or party, or whatever, but everybody is reading those song lyrics differently. I don't think he read that differently that morning when San Francisco rose. Yes, that's it. Especially those song lyrics, right? I don't think he had, just because he liked Metallica, or just because, this song had a meaning for him. And obviously it had a meaning for her. The old Waldorf Club. Thank you so much, Rose. That's it. Right. So it obviously had a meaning for her. It had a meaning for him personally. And if you look at the cover of the actual album, you see Master of Puppets, obviously. You see crosses in an open field. And where are the crosses attached to? The puppet master. Strings everywhere attached to all these crosses. I mean, maybe I do read too much into it, but it's really weird, that it is really weird to me, anyways. That's why I named that live stream Puppet Master. Was he on a string performing what somebody else wanted him to do? Was he hypnotized of some sort? And I have another thing, another thought in my head, but I rather speak about this with the family first, or tell the family first and their opinion on it before I can say. But I have a little suspicion on how this could have been, occurring. Anyways, I find that album cover, Master of Puppets, very, very telling. And like I said, it's just me, this is my opinion. You might see it totally different, or you might think this has nothing to do with nothing. To me, it looks like he was controlled, though. Why battery? Why this album cover? Was it a reminder of that he is being controlled? Was it a reminder of, you have to do what we tell you to do? It's very eerie, indeed. So the Master of Puppets is the one controlling, or was he the one being controlled? This makes me think of conversations with his family when Dave and I back then, used trigger words. He's reacting to trigger words. But he says, and still says, I cannot remember. It's all a blur. And I tend to believe him partially. The mind is a powerful place in your head, and psychology and all that stuff. I'm not an expert at all in this field, but I talk to certain people, and there is a chance that he really, I wouldn't say being traumatized, but there is a chance that he really cannot remember. And trigger words trigger him, and he does remember in parts. Now I want you to listen to a little part of his interview, and there in his Wisconsin interview, he makes it clear. He makes his feelings clear on what he was thinking at that point in time. Now listen to this. Or I'm gonna show you on StreamYard. That's better. Hold on one sec. Now listen to this.
I'm standing still. It's kind of like I just saw my life just disappearing before my eyes, but I couldn't let go. It was like somebody else, like if you picture somebody else around you, holding your hands, holding you, keep you from not letting go.
It's just intimate because you're right in there, using your own hands. It's a lot different than someone standing across the room and you shooting them or something like that. So
It just felt like somebody was like behind me, just like I just couldn't let go.
It's interesting.
When she was gone, it was just like I didn't know what was going on. It's like it was like a traumatic, I don't know what you call it, traumatic event type, and everything, and like I was shaking. I didn't know what had happened. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what I had done. I still wasn't in that right state of mind. I don't think like I was in control of what I could think or what I could do at that point in time.
how you get to that point, you
I
know?
don't know. Like I said, it was just like something else was controlling me that day. I had no control over what I was like to fight back.
Yeah.
I had no control over this, no control to fight back. And he's also talking about like a traumatic event. I didn't know what I am doing. I didn't know what I was doing. For everyone who's just joined, I'm gonna play it again. It's only a minute.
I was standing still. It's kind of like I just saw my life just disappearing before my eyes, but I couldn't let go. It was like somebody else, like if you picture somebody else around you, holding your hands, holding you, keep you from not letting go.
It's just intimate because you're right in there, using your own hands. It's a lot different than someone standing across the room and you shooting them or something like that. So
It just felt like somebody was like behind me, just like I just couldn't let go.
It's interesting.
When she was gone, it was just like I didn't know what was going on. It's like it was like a traumatic, I don't know what you call it, traumatic event type, and everything, and like I was shaking. I didn't know what had happened. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what I had done. I still wasn't in that right state of mind. I don't think like I was in control of what I could think or what I could do at that point in time.
how you get to that point, you
I
know?
don't know. Like I said, it was just like something else was controlling me that day. I had no control over what I was like to fight back.
Yeah.
What stands out to me is that he says, it's like I didn't have any control. I didn't fight back. You can see that as you will, right? I mean, no control over because he was full of anger and did it, or he was controlled. Like he said, it's like someone controlled me. I had no control to fight back. Exactly. Good night, Owl. Hi, by the way, for everybody who's just joining. Yeah, this is something that really, really concerned me. He's mentioning the traumatic event. But to experience trauma, I mean, if you experience trauma, you fall into a depression and you get post-traumatic stress disorder and stuff like that. But this does not happen overnight. It does not happen overnight. It happens after the fact, after the traumatic event, and it takes a while till you realize and to seek help and stuff like that. So if he did all this, it's like a traumatic event. What traumatic event is he talking about? This did not occur. It doesn't come out like the minute or an hour after you've done something like this. It takes time to realize. And this is what really, really I have to think about. I really do. 12:16. He's taken 2 photographs of sunflowers in an open prairie. That was when he's been to the Survey 1029. As you can see here, sunflowers. Not sure if he's sending her those pictures, but I think so. I think he sent her those pictures too. So now the sunflowers and moon phases, it's actually the work of Adrian and Catherine. They found that those moon phases. So as I told you before, or read you before, fertility rituals are another popular use for this plant. Some who wish to conceive will eat sunflower seeds on a waxing moon. Everything is about sunflowers for them. Taking pictures, she's taken a picture in a sunflower field, and this is representing the waxing moon. When you put that into Google, sunflowers and waxing moon, all this stuff will come up. So feel free to Google it. And this reminded me of, I want to give you a son. We have one first together, and you already had all your firsts with Shanann, and, I want to give you a son. So symbolic, the sunflowers, in my opinion, do represent her maybe wanting to have a child. Who knows? She wanted to give him a son. Now look at this. And thanks to Adrian for sending me this. Waxing moon in Denver was from August the 11th to August the 28th. As you can see here. That's actually the screenshot of Adrian. I couldn't make any sense out of it until this is the same thing with me and time zones. I cannot make sense out of it, but yeah. So waxing moon, and the thing is, it started at August the 11th. And this is when he looks up all these weird things and all these ritualistic things and stuff like that. So waxing moon, sunflowers, rituals. Is that a coincidence? I don't know if that's a coincidence. I don't think so. I don't believe in coincidences in this case at all. Now, let's get into that, why he's telling investigators about them having sexual activities before all this happened. This is also from a psychiatrist. I don't know if I can give it the way she is explaining it to you guys. I hope this makes sense. So CW often combines violence with sexual activities. It plays a big role for him. He's talking freely about that topic when he gave his untrue confession in Wisconsin. When he first admitted to have killed Shanann because she killed the children, he mentioned that they had sex before the murderous act. He also mentioned no fighting back of Shanann as he strangled her, no matter if that is true or if it only exists in his imagination. For CW, combining sexual activities with holding power over someone or having the total control, at least in his mind, if that makes sense. So, for example, he has no control of what he does. He's being controlled, and I gotta say that just straight out. And people can bash me, I don't care. But Shanann did control him. She did control everything. She did control his clothes he was wearing. She did control his phone. She did control the finances. She did control his paycheck. He controlled everything. And with the only thing he might have had control over her was with sexual activities. If that makes sense. If that makes sense to you, what I'm trying to explain, right? So, with all of what occurred, having a loss of control, he's trying in his interview to regain control, or trying not to look like a complete stupid idiot. So he's telling them, oh, I had sex with her. Because that makes him feel in his mind that he has control, and he had some sort of control, even though he didn't. I don't believe anyway that, there were any sexual activities between them that night, or for longer even. But yeah, this is what, is, I don't even know how to explain. I hope my gibberish makes sense. But by saying that, he just didn't want to look like a effing, I almost said the word, an effing idiot. He wanted his part in this and show others that he did have some sort of control. Right? So with sexual activities, this is the only thing he can have control over someone. And again, NK, she knew that. She knew how to, they all knew, all the women probably he was with in his life, they knew that they can basically, sexual relations and all that stuff, this is how you get him. Right? I hope this made sense. Okay. So for the next part, I need Dave G to come on this, because he's gotta explain to us the lack of blood in the autopsy. Hello, Dave.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad.
Not too bad. Okay. That's good. Yeah, we were talking about hold on, I just put us away. We were talking about recently that there was no blood in her autopsy report mentioned, right? There was
That's right.
no blood. Her organs were dried out, and medical examiner had to squeeze spleen for blood tests,
That's right.
and Nico expelled from womb.
Right.
Do you think this could have had something to do with some sort of ritualistic?
Well, the whole thing, the weird thing about that is the way that her body was found. She was wearing panties, so if Nico was expelled from the womb, it would actually be caught in her panties, but they said it was in the sand.
Mhm.
So that there actually tells me, because I remember, I don't know if it's in the latest autopsy, if they redacted it or not, but Chris did say that she had her baby when he threw her in the grave. Okay, so the only thing is that there wasn't enough blood like at the grave where she was. So for her to actually lose that much blood, so their organs are actually dry, she had to have been killed either just before they put her in the grave or from somewhere else. But
Yeah.
the weird thing is that sheet they found, there was absolutely no blood on it, which is weird. So that there, it just doesn't make any sense at all. But one thing with that is like the organs was dry, they had to squeeze the spleen, but they also could have went and had a sample from the eyeball too to get their tests. That's another way of testing. But
Hmm.
yes, I do think something major did happen that she had no blood left in her, so just something's wrong somewhere.
Hmm. So I'm gonna pull up that crime scene picture. So viewer discretion. I'm not sure if you can see it, but you know, I mean, this does not look to me that there was, I mean, I don't want to be too graphic on here, but you
I
know,
will. I
yeah, then
actually
you
zoomed
better.
right into that because, okay, I zoomed right into that to see what that actually was. And to me, what it looks like is, okay, everybody says how sandy the soil is and everything. Well, it is until you go down a certain depth, and then it turns like almost like a clay. If anybody's seen any of Shanann's videos, they actually were using fire hoses to wet down the soil in order to use like the cats and backhoes in order to dig the basements behind the Watts houses. That's how, like, what's that dark spots that you see there? It's like clumps of hard clay. It's not blood. Okay. And if
Okay.
you see the hole to the next, like to the left of that, that there is actually, Chris had said that he buried the kids' stuffed animals in the blankets with Shanann. Well, when they took Shanann out, they didn't find anything, so they dug beside it, and there was nothing there. And then he says, "Oh, maybe they blew away in the wind," but that's a bunch of garbage too. But no, I zoomed right in that or in on that. I did different filters and everything. That is absolutely not blood in the bottom at all. So,
Hmm.
and it's like these guys when they did take soil with them, like when they wrapped Shanann inside the coroner sheet, they put it in paper bags, but they didn't let it breathe. So everything got contaminated and moldy. So if there was anything in there to test, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So she actually did bleed somewhere else other than there, unless there's another spot like around there that there was blood and it was covered up. Who knows? So, but where that sheet was actually found, there was two places where the soil was had been dug up, and they thought maybe they were graves or something, but there was nothing there. So
Yeah. No, the toys were actually never found.
no,
There wasn't much on the shirt either, Rose. Exactly. Um, yeah, and also about her position she was buried in. Um, I always thought and still think it, but I'm drifting off that thought a little bit. Do you think that the position, and I'm sorry, you guys, if somebody is offended by me talking that way, but um, that position she was found in, like, was in a fetal position with her hands or her arms stretched out. This is kind of like a worship position too, right?
yes, well that they actually call it the downward dog position in yoga, and
Mm-hmm.
it is another position, yes, for worship. So, but the only thing with that, it could be one of two things too, though, because if again, if she was put inside the say the back of that forerunner,
Yeah.
they have the back seat in there, and then the back of the where the tailgate is, that's almost the right area, like that her body was positioned in. So if she was killed somewhere else and then put into the back of there, because why else would they put plastic bags on her hands and like over her head and her feet? Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. and then wrap her in a sheet unless they had her wrapped in plastic. You know what I mean? And they took the plastic away with her. But who knows, right? But if she would have been put into the back of the Forerunner like that, rigor mortis would have set in, and there was no way that they could actually moved her without breaking any bones or anything when they put her inside the grave.
Right. And that also makes me, certain that she wasn't transported anywhere near his truck, let
That's
alone in
right.
his truck, because
No,
the blood must have gone somewhere.
right. That's why I think there's we don't know where the actual crime scene is, so it's like, is the house the crime scene and Survey 319 is a secondary, or is Survey 319 the third place? We'll never know.
Right. And also, I wanted to talk about how rare it actually is having a coffin birth.
Oh, that's not
So,
going to happen.
I
No,
mean,
it's like there's been 3
especially,
cases since the 1800s.
yeah,
And
especially after only 3 or 4 days,
right. But then
right?
again, you got to stop yourself there too,
Mm-hmm.
because if she's going to have a coffin birth, that fetus is going to be inside her panties, because if she's buried in the sand, it's not going to go anywhere. But yet they said the
Exactly.
fetus was inside, like on the sand, you know, and it was
Covered
out of
in
the
sand.
sack.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it had already been out before she was buried, period. There's no ifs, buts about it.
Right. And if it happened and he saw that happening, I don't think he would have, no, there's no way.
No, I'm
So
not going to get into the only other way that could happen, but that goes back to the charge of what was it? His makeshift works about the fetus, because
right.
of yeah. I won't get into that one. But with that's the only other way that it could have happened.
Hmm.
So
And I think, or in my opinion, I believe that they did the genetic testing. The genetic testing in general was a reason, um, because it's so rare, right? And that's why they probably thought something was wrong with the baby.
yeah, but the whole thing is we never got to see any results, and I doubt it very, very much that the Rusiks ever saw the results either. Because no matter what anybody says or thinks, when the service happened, when they were burying people, okay, Nico wasn't there. He wasn't buried at the same time as everybody else. They
No,
didn't
it was still in
receive
evidence.
Nico. Yeah, he was still in evidence, and it was like another 27 days later before Dave Baumauer actually delivered Nico to the Rusiks in a cooler. So he was
Hmm.
buried, or she. We don't know if it was a male or female. We don't know if Nico was actually dead or alive when Shanann was murdered, because at that time she was spotting in North Carolina already. She was sicker than heck, and that there could be signs that she was losing the baby then. And she
Hmm.
refused to go to emergency. And if it's because of lack of money, I don't think so. I think it's more or less, if she would have lost the baby, then what's she going to do with Chris? Because that was the only reason she was trying to keep Chris, is because she was going to have a baby boy. But
Yeah.
there's absolutely nothing anywhere saying that it was an actual boy. And it's like even with the ultrasound, it's like there's nowhere on there it says male or a female.
Hmm.
And same thing with the genitalia. It's blacked out with a black marker. What's the reasoning behind that? So to this day, we'll never know. And I don't know if, like I said, because it was 27 days later that he was delivered, that would have been the time that the Rusiks, if they did get any genetic testing back, that would have been when they got it, not
Right.
before.
Right.
And then that goes back to, why did they go against Shanann's wishes and change his name? Because Shanann said it was Nico, Niko, but yet they put it as Nico, which could be boy or girl.
Right. And also, what I'm asking myself over and over, what was the important medical information the ultrasound clinic had?
That's right. To me, I think they were going to say that Nico wasn't alive. That's that's what I think.
Right.
Because he was underweight, and even his length, it was too small for that stage of her pregnancy. So she did have like a well-formed gallstone. They found that when they did the autopsy, but that wouldn't make her like as sick as she was, because she was complaining that she was throwing up like a week's worth of food. So that there tells me she was actually losing Nico at the time when she was in North Carolina.
Yeah, and she also said she was spotting and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And would go to the emergency room,
Mm-hmm.
which is totally beyond me because I don't know. I just don't understand.
That would be the only thing I could think of, is that like if she lost the baby, that would have been probably it for the relationship, because then what ties does Chris have to her? I'll give you a baby boy, let's stay together, right? So
Right.
without that, there.
Exactly. No, she was dehydrated too.
Yeah, even when she went to Arizona, they were feeding her water like crazy because she was so dehydrated. So that again, was Nico dead already or dying?
Right. What you see on the screen is the history of actual coffin birth, and you see Shanann is added on the bottom. I had recently, like a few weeks ago, or last week, or the week before, I have no time at all anymore. I had a good conversation with someone on a crime blog, and she said to me, well, coffin birth is not that rare. Look at the Scott Peterson case. And I said, well, and I pulled the actual court documents, and it states that the baby of Lacey Peterson had duct tape around its head. Isn't that interesting?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And
they were testing if and somebody said in court, and they even mentioned that fact in court, and the experts said, well, if she basically had a coffin birth in the water, how does the duct tape stick to the baby's head? So it must have been applied on land, right? Not in the water, because otherwise it wouldn't stick.
Right. But that was only a torso, though, I thought, wasn't it?
Her torso, yeah, but the baby was in one piece.
Right. So then there's no way that'd be a coffin birth.
Exactly, but I'm just drifting away here again, but I want to know how the duct tape, got there.
Yeah, really.
And I did not know that either, because I was looking and trying to find out, because I want to be always right.
Yeah.
But yeah, how is that even possible? So what you see on screen is, I'm not gonna read all that. It's just a screenshot from Wikipedia. Just put in Google coffin birth Wikipedia, and this will come up. So they did add Shanann, even though, in my opinion, it's a medical mystery. I don't know. I don't know how this could have happened.
Well, then again, it depends on who it is that's saying she had a coffin birth. Because if you look back at the autopsy, they have the girls listed with 3 different kinds of clothing that they were wearing. So, for them to put coffin birth in there, I don't think so.
Yeah. I mean, Wikipedia is everybody can edit something.
That's right.
And it's not medically accurate. And I've been searching for coffin birth and studies about it. And in none of these actual studies Shanann is added,
No,
right?
not
It's
at all.
only on Wikipedia. So yeah, we do not have the medical expertise, or we're not a medical experts in any way, shape, or form. But I would think that these people who know, who are experts in their field, would add her if that's even possible.
Yeah, because
That's
it should
an
have been in
option.
there, and it wasn't anywhere. So, and it's like I spent 12 hours looking up, like for coffin births and stuff, like everywhere I could, and there's nothing. There's no way that she had one.
Yeah. I mean, they do mention all these women. They do not mention Lacey Peterson, and they do not mention Shanann Watts.
Right.
So
The only thing I can say is that I won't get into it, but Chris was charged with the termination of the pregnancy, which is what caused Shanann's death. But yet they
right.
also said that Shanann was strangled. So she can't be killed two ways at the same time. But to me, if you go termination of a pregnancy and you have the fetus outside of the sac in the sand, that's what happened, not that he strangled her. And it makes a lot of sense because if he would have done that, she would have bled out completely.
Mhm.
And that's what, if you look at her organs, they were dry. So the only thing is where did it happen? It's like,
Yeah.
did they have some kind of a weird ritual where this was all done and then they took her to survey afterwards? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it would fit. According to the searches he did, the moon and waxing and her conceiving his son and all that stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, it might sound, I said in the start, maybe some of you think I'm losing my marbles, but this is really stuff we need to talk about, because it's just weird, and I always want to find an explanation and get into these things if I can find one. So right, let's see what Dawn has to say.
I'll get a mute.
Hello, darling.
Hello, TJ.
Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. I hope that there are still people in chat.
Yeah, as far as I can see, 280.
Nice. I have a presentation that at one point can be interactive.
You have a presentation now?
Yes, I have, and maybe in the middle of it there will be a pop quiz for people in chat.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna remove my screen and you can share yours, okay?
Right. Let me see.
Hi, Catherine, by the way. Catherine found a lot of stuff. I don't see anything. Ah, there you go. Hold on, let me remove that background real quick because it's irritating me. So there you go.
Ready? Okay.
Ready. I'm
First of all, thank you for having me in your panel.
No problem.
Also, I would like to thank those that sent me email asking me if I'm okay. Everything is all right. It's just that I have been swamped with a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
And
we all were.
yes, you know what happens in the world, and it affects everybody.
Absolutely.
So, my presentation will show my perspective on today's topic. It has a more generic part, but I hope you will understand better how to solve this kind of issues like we used to call weird. The topic of today has to do with, let's say, paranormal or supernatural things. We call them witchcraft and other names.
I'm gonna just mute myself and go get me a iced tea real quick, okay?
Sure, no problem. So I will start as usual with a disclaimer. This presentation reflects my own opinions based on my professional training as a digital forensics consultant, my limited personal experience of life, and the information gathered from colleagues in the local law enforcement and from abroad. I will state my opinions in goodwill and to the best of my abilities. I am not enforcing my opinion onto anyone. Everybody is free to exercise critical thinking by filtering any emotional factor, any speculation, any subjective beliefs and stereotypes. The freedom of speech gives me the right to express judgments of value up to the point they become slander. I am asking you to do the same because any kind of emotional exacerbation, we call it drama, is not productive in a criminal case. Now, I would like you to open your minds and let me share with you a few observations about the common mistakes people do when they are dealing with new things, unusual weird things. Some of them can be summed up by using these two statements.
Your audio is bad.
I don't know what's happening.
No, it's good.
Okay. So people say something like this: if I don't believe in something, it doesn't exist. Or if I don't understand something, it is not possible. Of course, I don't find either of those as being constructive. And let's identify the source of the mistakes. It could be a lack of experience, like people say, it didn't happen to me, I don't care. People can have a limited experience, thinking that all people are almost like me. And I would like to emphasize this is the most common mistake. Many people asked, how was it possible for Chris Watts to kill his entire family? Why? This is the problem. People think based on their limited experience, and maybe it is too difficult to understand. There are other people that have a very different behavior. Anyway, moving on. It can be a lack of knowledge and education. People say, I don't like reading and thinking myself. I prefer other people to tell me what to think. We know for sure that the mainstream media has a great role in this. People have no time. They feel too comfortable to put some effort into inform themselves, and they end up thinking what somebody else wants. And finally, there are stubborn personal beliefs. People that say, I am an aggressive, ignorant person, and I am proud of that. No comment on that. It is the most destructive way of thinking. So let's hope that from now on, we will have an open mind on every subject, and we will do the effort to search for information ourselves without the possibility of being manipulated or otherwise fooled from, let's say, a person or the government. A few things about criminal psychology. We are studying NK and Chris Watts as from the point of view of relation of, let's say, manipulation, subordination, or something like this. And I will address this subject at the end with my conclusions about NK in relationship with CW. The science that studies the wills, the thoughts, the intentions, and the reactions of criminals, and everything that participates in criminal behavior is called criminal psychology. People that have this profession are trying to find out why people murder, what their motives are, what made them do it. To study this, they go deep in their childhood, in their family environment, and they try to find out if there was some event, some traumatic event that influenced their lives. As you know, criminal psychologists are often called to.
Your audio is like you're underwater. Is it
Again,
just me? Yeah.
I don't know what to do. It's the same microphone, the same laptop. Maybe it's from my
Get an
connection.
Apple already and throw away their Windows 95.
Yeah. How is now? Is it better?
Yeah, now it's better. It sounds like you're underwater at times.
The only solution would be to walk instead of staying in bed. Because if I move my laptop, it seems that the audio is better. As I was saying, criminal psychologists are often called as witnesses in court because they can help the jury to understand how the mind of the criminal works. Now, there are some limitations of criminal psychology from the simple reason that it is a science. Allow me to do a step back and talk about the three main schools of thinking. I'm trying to relate this science and the limitations of science, and I hope you'll understand why I'm doing that. There are three main schools of thinking about the origin of life. There is the so-called divine school. The world was created by God. We have a body, a soul, and a spirit. There is the Darwin's theory of evolution. Everything is related to matter, and life came on Earth from the planetary soup of chemical elements under special conditions of heat, lightning, and that kind of stuff. And the newest school of thinking about the origin of life is the primordial energy, or the Big Bang, or better said, the Big Flash, because bang is sound and flash is light, and usually light is first. So scientists tend to relate everything to matter. In school, in college, they don't learn anything else than our world is material. There is no soul, there is no spirit, nothing else, only matter. For that, they study the brain as the main culprit for everything that happens badly in our behavior. And there is a long list of mental diseases coming from, they say, from the malfunction of the brain, neurotransmitters, and other chemical or hormonal imbalance. I tend to say, and like I said, it is my opinion, this is a very limited view over our personality, our life, our behavior. Because as you will see, some things can be explained if we don't accept there is something else other than body. The definition of body is our physical vessel, and we interact with it through our five senses: sight, hearing, taste, smell, and touch. In Bible, we read that the soul is the sum of our mind, emotions, and will. This is different. Soul is different from spirit, which is defined like our deeper connection with God. The Holy Spirit is the life giver, and also the Spirit is a container of all our experiences. When people die, the connection with God, like I see it, is terminated, and that connection goes back to the source, carrying all the information that individual connected in his life. So it's like a central library, if you will, and everything that happened to us goes in a shelf, ready to be shared with the rest of, let's say, of the readers. I'm getting closer of our topic. There are good people and there are evil people. We call them good people, those who have a connection with God. I'm talking from the divine theory perspective. Although I'm an engineer, I had to embrace this theory, because to me, it explains better what happens in my life and in our world. We tend to say that people that are good have angels that, let's say, help them in their life. On the opposite side, evil people have no connection with God. They are godless. And they tend to make contact with other entities that we call demons. From what I experienced so far and read, it looks like evil exists and it is manifested through people. It's not like, we see painted in churches like devils with horns and all kind of horror stories. No, the devil is in each of us and it manifests if we decide to do that. So then we are tools for evil or vessels. Such people that are evil practice also witchcraft. What is witchcraft? Witchcraft is a set of, let's say, rules or incantations or invocation of demons. It looks like it is a very old people had interest in this thing for a very long time. And in our case, to be more specific, talking about Nicole Kissinger, we are talking about the Wicca religion. They define themselves as a pagan religion that relates to nature. There is no deity. There are only two persons that invented this religion. They call themselves gods. And they do some rituals that Tanya and Devji talked about, and I tend to agree with them that in our case, in Watt's case, could be something like that involved. Maybe this is one of the reasons why Chris Watts didn't want to have a trial, because God knows what horror stories we could have found. So coming to our main subject, main person, I still consider Chris Watts a family murderer. I would like to address now something related to his parents. You see, I wrote this question: is his family still hoping he's partially innocent? I had the occasion to speak with them, and while I tend to, let's say, understand their grief, their disappointment, there is something that is not doing well. It is not constructive for them and for inclusively for our work. I tend to see them as self-deceiving behavior. They tend to believe that somehow Chris murdered only Shannon, and he had no role in killing the daughters. Okay, I can understand why they think that, but I have to tell them again to think again if it is correct to think like that. Otherwise, they can be prey for manipulators that pose as friends and pleasers. I hope they will understand in very shortly what is happening and will come to a better conclusion. I didn't sugarcoated my opinion about Chris Watts, and I continue to believe friends do that. Instead of lying, they tell them straight the truth, according to evidence. Of course, it is a long list of things that Chris Watts did that show us he is guilty, some directly, some indirectly. The list is too long to talk about it right now. I will only talk about a few things that maybe I didn't speak about. I titled this slide, "Call me Mr. Bad News." It is about me. I am Mr. Bad News. I prefer to be called like that. So my opinion is this: I am not buying his controlling force over him scenario. I'm not buying his memory loss for a simple reason. He refused any psychological or psychiatric evaluation. Somebody that was so concerned about his lack of memory would have admitted a professional and neutral psychologist or psychiatrist to evaluate him. Yet he refused. He still refuses to any legal advice or legal action. Of course, there is the possibility he might be afraid that his life is in jeopardy. Yet you can't live all your life with this fear. If he is not a coward, he should do something. If not, then he is in the best place he should be. I am also not buying his revelation about finding God while in prison. He memorizes passages, he's writing poems, poetries, and so on. But this is not believing.
If I can chip in real quick.
Sure.
I do believe partly that he did find God, and here's why. If anything of what we presented today has any truth to it, people who experienced, let's say, evil spirits or controlling, supernatural controlling or witchcraft and black magic, so to speak, they do feel like they have to ask for forgiveness even more. The Bible states there is no such thing as other, I wouldn't say religions, but there is no such thing as witchcraft. There is no such thing as the dead can talk to you and stuff like that. So if you think that, or if you feel that, the Bible clearly states this is not anything that comes from God, right? So with him being, if any truth is to that, what we just presented, I think he feels like he has to pray for forgiveness even more. And that's why I do believe that he is so into biblical stuff and, praying and hopes he will be forgiven and stuff. That's just an observation. But yeah, I do think that he really struggles when he thinks back of what occurred.
There is no need to struggle himself. There are professionals that can help him to remember things, maybe regressive hypnosis, I don't know. But I would have hoped he had more interest in getting help. Right now, I don't see
Maybe,
that.
maybe, I mean, I don't want to defend him or protect him in any way, shape, or form, but maybe there is no help for things he experienced.
Excuse me. Do you remember when he was in solitary confinement? They said that, well, he had a paper jumpsuit on, but they found him laying in the fetal position in his cell, and he was yelling, crying, and what was it? He kept on saying, "What did I do? What did I do?" And shortly after that, I can't remember if it was before or after he signed the plea agreement. Do you remember that? But that
Yes,
would go in part of, did he actually do something, or did he actually let something happen? Because his whole thing is he can't remember. But can he? So that's the whole thing. It's weird. But since they did that, there's only one video left uh, on YouTube saying that he was yelling and crying and all that other stuff. Everything else was redacted. Even the guards that brought that forward, they took that off the news, and you can't find it anywhere now.
yes, that is the price he had to pay for doing evil things. It's not like you kill somebody and then you go in a holiday. Let's hope that his conscience will eventually help him to. I mean, by conscience, in fact, I'm saying God. Maybe God will help him understand that by staying silent, by protecting other people that help him, he will not. He will not go higher as spirit, and by contrary, he will go lower. So I will wait to see what happens. But so far, I am very disappointed, like his family is. And finally, talking about his relation with NK. As you know, Chris was all his life a follower and a pleaser. He met NK and he showed him a new life, a new type of relationship. She was smart enough to manipulate his ego and made him feel like a man for the first time. But the price was that the monster that was asleep in him woke up. And then NK helped him, with quotes, with her witchcraft and probably with her mental disorder. I think that she's multipolar, not bipolar, has multipolar disorder. How many personalities we have identified? There is herself, there is the woman with, let's say, with a lower voice. There is the child that giggles. What else? If I remember correctly, there are 4 or 5. So, what I find about her behavior is that she constantly reinforced the messages to kill his family. She did it by phone, by texting, by photos, the searches he did online, by songs and by lyrics. As you can see, is a powerful attack. I forgot about that green substance and the tea. So, and if we add also the sex, that played a bigger role, Chris decided to listen to her because he is very weak when it comes to sex. We know that from his list, that never-ending list of ladies, to call them politely. So, what I would, because the next slide is some kind of pop quiz about childhood versus adulthood of murderers. I would like to address Cindy Watts. I would like to tell her that she did everything a mother could do, but she raised Chris Watts only as long as he stayed at home. The moment he left their house, she had no possibility to change something. So any kind of disappointment, any kind of self-guilt is useless. And to prove that, I created this pop quiz that shows there is no relation between us as kids or young people and adult people. What is all about? The game is this. I will show you the photo of a child, and you will have to guess who is that person as an adult.
I love that.
Of course, we're talking about
Bring it on.
Yeah. So, the first slide.
Oh my God, that's hard.
I would have expected to know.
Geen.
Anyone else? Let's look in chat. I don't see the chat, but if you see something interesting, please tell me.
So we have to what?
To guess
to say who that is.
Who that is, because it is an evil person. I have 5 or 6 such examples. Should I reveal?
I don't wanna say his name.
Do you know who it is?
That is right. I just don't wanna say this evil bastard's name.
Yes, I think you guessed it. Now, next one.
I have no clue.
It is a little harder, but let's say it is similar to the previous one.
I have no clue.
Anyone in chat?
Bundy? Oh.
Yes. Next one.
That's Bundy. No, that's Manson.
Yes.
Absolutely 100%, Charles. Yeah.
as you know, a very controversial individual, petty criminal, not proved guilty as murderer, but
Petty criminal, but not a murderer, in
not
my
a
opinion.
murderer. Yes, not proved, and also a cult leader.
Nah. Opinions divide.
Okay.
That is, I know this guy. I know him. I know him. Hold on. That's the clown. What's his name? I always
No,
forget it.
no, it's not Gacy.
It's not Gacy.
No,
He looks like Gacy. Ed Gein, it's a bit too too young for. I mean, the image doesn't look like it was taken at the time Ed Gein lived. But Dahmer
you,
comes up. Ridgway. It's Ridgway. Oh, it's Dahmer. Oh my goodness.
do you see how he put the hand on the neck of the the little kitten?
Oh my God, yeah.
You see.
Oh, none of your business says I can't with the kitten. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't get.
I only had one right. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. The eyes. The eyes.
He was recently killed. I mean, not quite recently, a few 4 years ago, by Americans.
Oh. Huh. Born to be Wild said. Okay, you made it especially difficult.
These are the only photos I found from their childhood.
I have no clue.
Look at his eyes. He's a serial killer.
Oh God. Black and white picture. I don't know. It is Bundy?
Yes.
Go back
One-
to that childhood
of-
picture, please.
One of the very few pictures. This is for connoisseurs. The last one.
I don't know.
He was a very prolific assassin. Not serial killer, assassin. And the movie was made after his life.
I have no clue. Oh my goodness, no way.
Yes. So what I wanted to prove that there is no connection between a child, a teenager, a young, and what did he become when he made his own decisions as an independent person, as a family man, whatsoever. We have no control as parents over the life of our children after a certain age. It is their own decision what to do.
That's true. We don't have control as parents over a certain age of the kids. But all these people you showed, they showed traits. And they showed that something is not right. You know,
Only
either it was their parents, like they, you know, gave them away at an early age, or like Manson, for example, and he was always like on his own as a child, right? And others were like, I mean, that World War II, I don't want to say his name,
none of them had
known
a
to
bad
be
child.
having, he was known to be having, you know, a mental state early on, especially when I think about what he did to his sister. And, you know, I mean, in none of these pictures or none of these people you just showed, they all have something, you know. Even Dahmer's dad, he called and sent letters to the prison, please don't let my son out, and please help him, and please this, please that. Every one of them had something people saw.
Yes, but let's say Dahmer said that his childhood was normal.
Yeah, his childhood was normal, but you know, when you're, let's say you're traumatized from something, you're more open to, you know, to get in get in touch with weird people, or, you know, in certain circles you cannot get out of without help, if that makes sense.
That is something else. But Dahmer, looking in retrospect, he had the possibility to say if he was traumatized as a kid or not.
Yeah.
And he did.
Kim,
So
with Chris, I have to agree. With Dama, I have strongly disagree. You know, look at his mom, what she did. She left him alone, you know, living on his own, and just basically effed off. Then all the violent, I would say, arguments they had when he was a little boy and stuff like that. So there was stuff going on in his family. I think the only normal person in Dahmer's family is actually his dad.
okay.
His mom is a total whack job, in my opinion.
Yes. So what I would like to emphasize is that, and by linking to my initial presentation to the first part, is that there is not consensus about the reason why people kill. Just by studying the brain is not enough. There is something else too that we cannot quantify using, standard units. And I'm referring to the soul. When we give away our soul and let something else to come in, I think evil things happen.
Yeah. If you let it happen, like, how do I describe that? I think you're more open to receive bullshit people and their opinions, and be more open, because you still think maybe positive, or you know, you wouldn't think that people can harm you or in any way, shape, or form.
Excuse me. Do you
Yeah.
remember, like, when Chris was growing up, they had talked about Cindy taking him to church? It's like almost forcing him to church. But I guess she had changed churches, and I don't know what happened, but he had ended up locking himself in the bathroom, and he was crying and he was repenting. And then you don't ever hear about him being upset ever again. It's like when he left the house, like to go to college and that, he just left like and abandoned Ronnie. He never ever, like, Ronnie and him used to do everything together. And then just when he left the house, it was like he turned off a switch and his family didn't exist anymore. And it's like all the way after that, it's like he mimicked everybody that he was around. And
Right, right.
that's, and it's like the best times he was having is when he was playing with kids and like they were having functions. He was always at the back of the room, or if there was something going on at the house or somewhere, he was always with the kids, playing with the kids.
Yes, I tend to agree, Dave. Let's not forget our topic. These people, such people, are an easy prey for cunning women, let's say.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I think this is the case with CW. Not that I I find him reason to be innocent. Tanya, you know my opinion about Shannon, and while I understand some of his reasons to kill, it was not the best solution. Yeah, anyone from chat wants to address me a question? This is the moment.
So, Don, do you think that Chris was lured by lust and some kind of hallucinogen combined, or was this in him the whole time just waiting to come out? The evil.
I would be very honest. Being a man, I have to admit that men in general are very weak when it comes to lust. And maybe it is our instincts, I don't know. But in his case, in CW's case, it is indeed a combination. I think some witchcraft was performed on him.
I agree.
Using drugs, hallucinogens, I don't know what, all kind of witchcraft. I'm not expert in that, but I know for sure there are people that are using such practice.
So it could be a combination of all three
Yeah,
combined.
yeah.
Okay.
Especially if he has no defense, if somebody who is not believing in something that is powerful, it is easier to get hurt.
Well, Chris was a follower, not a leader. I tend to lean on the fact that he didn't believe in himself.
Yes, and suddenly he realized he can be very strong. A woman, for the first time, a woman was at least equal, if not somehow submissive to him. Of course, MK had a reason to be like that. She wanted to steal his happiness, his family, and to have one because she had 30 years old and nobody stayed with her for too long.
Very good observation.
Tumbleweed is
Yes.
asking, do you know where the girls were killed?
Where?
Yep.
I think they were drugged after the party, transported to a survey on Sunday.
Sleeping medication.
Yes, in a heavy dose, and killed at survey. The only unknown is if he did it by himself or not.
Yeah, I think too that she lured him. Absolutely.
Nobody is asking me about the suspects. I would have thought everybody would.
Well, Don, you know how I feel about others involved, so I'm not even going to touch on that subject.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page.
I personally don't believe that Jim has anything to do with anything, but that's just my opinion. I just don't know enough or didn't dig into it enough to.
I tend to lean on Jim was at Survey placed there as, I don't know, another decoy in this whole thing.
I don't know.
There is not a shred of information, a
I
piece of
know
information.
there's no
No
facts
evidence
on that.
either. So, yeah, Connie actually asked that.
But we have Troy McCoy instead.
Yep.
They were absolutely put through the thief hatches. They fit no problem. I do, if I'm allowed to answer that question, Lady Sarah, it seems more probable that the back hatches were used. No. And I can tell you why. I'm not sure if you have seen my live stream about how full the tanks were and all the data they had gathered up to the last day of when they were dismantled. So there's no way he could have drained those tanks, stuffed the girls into the manholes, and then put the oil back in. No way. So one of the tanks was half full, the other one was almost full. So no.
And dispose of Shanann. There wasn't enough time.
No.
Mm-mm.
And my moderators know what I'm talking about because you guys know I send you that trial.
Yep.
If you open the back hatches, a big spill of oil would have happened.
Yeah.
I just find it amazing that NK and Jim were so ill or feeling very sick on Monday. And again, no hard facts, but the fumes coming out of those hatches had to be something.
Mm.
You saw
but
pictures of the people looking in there, though. They didn't have a mask on or anything.
That's what I
Well-
just wanted to say. I think it depends on how long you're standing over those hatches.
Right.
See, they had to have like their protective gear on when they went into the manway. That's because it's a closed environment. But when you have a breeze going over top, when the thief hatch is open, it wouldn't affect you. But remember with Chris, he said when he actually had that crude on his shirt, then he could get a headache from it, but not just from looking inside.
There you go. We have an expert. Weekend Widow. I've worked at a refinery and it's not bad.
That helps.
That helps a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, when we see all these videos, when they take their samples, the oil samples, they don't use protective gear or any breathing stuff whatsoever.
Yes, I showed you 2 videos.
Yeah.
And people the other people that came to get out the bodies, they had to wear uniforms because there are a lot of regulations. They didn't come to put somebody in an oil tank.
No, that was too much oil in them still. And the kids would have fit, no problem. You tend to think they wouldn't because 8 inches seems not a lot, but they do fit. No problem.
Let's remember also how many bolts are screwing that back door. I think there are 80 bolts.
Yeah. Kim makes a good point. They could have been sick from coming down on something like drugs. That's a good point too. So, Catherine, do you want to show us what you found?
Well, I have to read my notes.
Yes.
Because I basically just looked into the history of NK and her religion, and I don't know what magic and magic with a K means, and also a plant called henbane that is very common in the black magic that is used very often in rituals.
Right. Can you share your screen, or do you want me to look something up?
I really can't share my screen because I don't have anything on it. I'm pretty much working between my iPad and my phone. But okay, NK's religion. There's a chapter called OTO in Denver, Colorado, and she is a branch off of that chapter. And it's called, I don't know if I'll say this right, but it's called Crux, Crux, and Seta Oasis. That is the name of the OTO chapter. OTO stands for Ordo Templi Orientis. Now,
how do I spell that? I'm looking it up on Google.
Ordo, O-R-D-O, Templi,
O-R-D-O?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Templi is T-E-M-P-L-I.
T-E-N?
M as in Mary,
Yeah.
T-L-I. Orientis, O-R-I-E, N as in Nancy, T as in Tom, I-S.
Okay, I have it. It's a secret society?
It's more of, well, okay, you have to look at it like a tree. Oto is the top of the tree. They really don't have any rules. They do go by what Aleister Crowley, the founder of Wicca, they believe in his beliefs, but they don't have control over what each branch under them does. In other words, each branch, each covenant under them has their own rituals, their own rules. So it's pretty much an open platform as far as the religion goes. OTO has connections with Wicca, pagan, black magic with a K, Freemasons, and it's funny because looking into Aleister Crowley's beginnings, he started writing the Wiccan, and he wrote something about the 9th degree of the Masons, and the Masons contacted him about what he was writing. So that's how he became a Freemason.
So
at a 9th degree level. He did not start from the bottom. He entered the Masons at a 9th degree, which is pretty high up. I also found that one of the branches under Oto, or a few of the a lot of them actually, there's a lot of branches in Colorado. There's quite a few of them in and around Aurora, Colorado, which is where NK lived.
Okay, let me look that up. Especially for there are some in Sydney. They're all over the world.
They are.
In Denver.
Yes, in Denver is where. All right, if they were to hold a meeting in Denver, it would probably bring all the branches together in one area. In other words, all the different covens would meet at that temple in Denver.
They have a county map?
Yes, they do.
COVID? COVID-19 by county. All right.
They do.
Okay. About? Located in the Valley of Denver. Former structure, blah, blah, blah.
That is the only one I could find in the whole state was in Denver.
Right. Yeah, that's the only one.
But there are several branches that branch out from that throughout Denver. So they all have their own little names, their own little beliefs.
Yeah, this is what I said earlier. It's hard to, to make out, is that this religion or is it that religion, because they all mix in together.
Well, each covenant has their own set of rules and beliefs, but they all go under the OTO. So if you look at it like a tree, OTO is at the very top, but they do not regulate or have set rules for each covenant that branches off under it. They do go by the Book of Shadows and a lot of other books dealing with black magic, spells, rituals. Where each covenant takes it is up to them. I think it just gives them the OTO name to go under as far as religion, as far as our government is concerned.
And it's originated in Germany and Austria. Did you hear that, Adrian? Oh my goodness. Okay, something else you found I found quite interesting. Maybe you can say something to that. Hold on, I pull it up. You send it to me by email. Hold on. Let me share. I did not read all of it.
I don't blame you. I kind of overwhelmed you this week.
This one. What is this all about? Investigator's Guide to Allegations of Ritual Child Abuse.
Yes. This has to do with what Wicca and paganism on the dark side. This was done by the FBI in their findings of, and excuse me if this sounds offensive, trigger warning. I'm not saying all, most Wiccans are very, very good. They believe in earth well-being and not to do harm to others. But the dark side, they do believe in rituals of pregnant mothers and fetuses as sacrifices, young children, such as virgins.
And
really, really deep.
Young children, virgins, and they cannot be baptized.
Exactly.
And Bella and C turned back, by the way.
Yes, you did confirm that.
This is crazy. I can put hold on, if I find the email, I can put the link in if you guys are interested in reading it. It's
There's a
just
lot to read.
yeah,
I think it's like over 100 pages.
it is. Here, government agency. That
Yes,
was
this
it.
was written by the FBI.
So it is something that it's not, far-fetched, and that stuff exists.
Matter of fact, if you go back to the top of the page, you can actually see who, I think it's in the very top right-hand corner, the name of the person that wrote this.
Mm,
Oh, I think,
National
yeah,
Center for the Analysis of Violent.
Irv. It's written up in the top corner.
Yeah. Federal Bureau
IRV.
of Investigation. This is crazy, and it's from 1992. FBI Academy. So you see, guys, this stuff is real. John, can you just mute yourself? I hear myself talking, please. Thank you. This stuff exists.
Yes, it does. And there are organizations that do investigate this kind of thing here in the US, in the UK. I've reached out to a couple universities to see if I can get some answers. So I'm still working on that.
Wow. This is crazy. And one other thing I wanted to show. Yeah, I mean, this is something we don't actually have a confirmation. This is a Reddit post, but I'm going to share it anyway that you sent to me, Catherine. Hold on.
From the ex-member?
I think it is. Yeah, hold on one sec.
Yes, I've tried to reach out to this person too. I have not heard back.
Window. This one. This one was pretty interesting. So this person is saying, so that's a Reddit post, right?
Yes.
It says, well, she belongs to the Ordo Templi Orientis, which is in essence an occult society. It is actually a satanic cult of sorts. Aleister Crowley, a very famous Satanist, shaped this organization. This is also by Chris' own admission why dark things went on in Nicole's apartment. Does that make her a witch? Possibly. Crowley thought of himself as a wizard, so there's that. She actually belongs to an order. She placed a call to her spiritual advisor the morning of the murders. Dave, you told me this too. You said she made a phone call. Are you still there? You
She
said
did
she
make
made
a phone call to her mentor before she called Chris and Jim, and right after.
That's right. Yeah.
hmm
So that's definitely confirmed, right?
And he was like 86 years old, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
And
That
do we
sounds
know
right.
anything about him?
Nothing. I couldn't find anything.
Oh, I had found it. I would have to go back on probably on my external hard drive.
Oh my goodness. If you can just look if you find it for the next live stream, we can do a little recap, and
Yes,
I
I
would
did find it at
really
one
love
point
to
in
show
time. I'm sure I saved it.
Yeah. So then a reply is, well, that witch dark magic stuff is no joke, especially the further up the ladder you go. However, I see nothing from NK that indicates she's deeply involved in it. She might have an interest at most, but I highly doubt she's into the really deprived S that goes on at the top.
Okay, I had sent you, I believe in the same email, at the bottom of that email, another Reddit post from this ex-member
Okay, hold on.
and her reason for leaving.
Which one of them two?
I believe it was the bottom one.
Hold on. Let me see if I can pull that up.
Should be in the same email.
Is it the one where somebody?
Reddit occult conspiracy comments.
Oh yeah. I have
Okay.
it. Hold on. I shared that real quick. Hold on. Just have to.
This is the lady I've reached out to. I haven't heard back. Honestly, I don't know if she will reply.
Probably not, but it would be nice if she would.
Right.
So
Well, she had
can
posted
invite
this
her.
a year ago, I believe.
Okay. Okay, hold on. Let me just. What's going on? Oh, I gotta. Oh, there you go. All right. Ooh, this is a long.
Yeah. I'm start with the second paragraph.
I'm an ex-member. Okay.
Oh, actually, the first paragraph, about halfway down. Again, this is going to be disturbing. It'll. Oh.
I just read it. I'm an
Yeah.
ex-member of the OTO, Occult Order Secret Society, which used to be strongly tied to Freemasonry, but separated after it became a Thelemic
Thelemic.
organization
Yep.
led by Aleister Crowley. I used to be really into Crowley and was going through a strange time in my life. So I sought out the OTO and was initiated almost a decade ago. I was initiated for several years, but left after a series of events, beginning with me discovering some extremely concerning documents showing that within the later degrees of the initiatory system, there were signs of abuse of a kind I can't put into less crass terms than experimentation on pregnant women and their fetuses. Oh my God. I also left because the order was becoming increasingly political, with two distinct sides fighting or control, one of which being the far right. Oh my God.
So, I mean, it's a pretty long article.
I'm
She
just
goes in.
gonna share the
Yeah,
screen.
just share it because
Share
people
the
can
link.
read it, and she does go into great detail of her experiences.
Oh wow. I kind of regret that I did not read that up front before going live.
These are just in my notes. So, under Crowley's Arthur Crowley's writings, he talks of marriage of the beast, and the only thing I'm going to say on this, people will have to look at it, is it's known as marriage of the beast or feasting of the beast. It's in the Crowley writings. You can Google it. But he mentions the days of August 12th and 13th of being very important in this ceremony. That's all I'm going to say about that subject.
Yes. Is that what you showed in the chat, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you put a link in the chat so people can find it?
Oh, marriage of the beast.
Or just Google it.
I believe I actually saved it.
Yeah, I'm feeling uncomfortable showing this here on.
Yes, I'm not comfortable with
YouTube,
it
so-
myself. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's the moon.
Yeah, Lady Sarah knows about it. That date,
Okay.
Marriage of the Beast was the
Yes.
12th.
If you're Wiccan, you will know about it. Oh gosh, I don't have the link. Oh poop.
Yeah, true crime chunky. Always numbers involved. That's
Yes,
also one
always.
big thing.
There's the reason Wiccans use the letter K at the end of magic. Again, deals with numbers. The reason Crowley put K at the end is to make the word 6 letters long,
Oh, okay, we all know what 6 means.
which is also represents the pentagon or hexagon. I'm sorry, the
Excellent, yes.
6-sided shape. So that is one of the reasons why the letter K is in there. But it also goes back to paganism, where it was actually spelt magic with a K, because they practiced in all these dark things. The only difference is magic with a C is more of like Houdini and David Blaine type things, stage shows.
Right.
The magic with a K is more for witchcraft and rituals.
Oh God, I think I gotta turn all the lights on before going to bed tonight.
You're actually going to sleep.
Mm.
So on the moons, when you Google the date 8/13/18 or even 8/12/18, when Shanann was supposed to arrive home before her plane was delayed, it was called a waxing or a waning crescent moon. They both mean the same.
Mhm.
And this is also a very important moon for the pagans and the Wiccans. I gotta read down. It's all
Well, I
about
can.
releasing and letting go of ideas, patterns, behaviors, any situations they're in, and cleansing themselves of people who are no longer serving your highest good. So again, this all fits in with the rituals. It's also known for being a good time for marriage and fertility. And I just find it odd that NK the week before is Googling wedding dresses
Yeah.
for
Mm.
this day
Yeah.
on the waxing
Yeah.
moon. The fact that Shanann, they had to have an offering, and the fact that Shanann was pregnant, I'm going to cry. And that the girls were virgins. That is all very, very important in this. So, with that said, I am going to let people do their own research on this, because if I go any deeper,
You
it's
can dive so deep.
it's
It's
crazy. Now,
not even.
the plant henbane that I was talking about, in the wrong doses, it's highly poisonous. This is a very poisonous plant, but it's
What is
used
it
in black
called? I can look it up real quick.
henbane. H as in
Hold
Henry,
on, hold on,
E,
hold on. H?
H as in Henry,
Yeah.
E, N as in Nancy, B as in boy, A, N as in Nancy, E.
Got
It's
it.
also known as the witch's plant.
It's called Hysochiamus
Yes, that's the
niger.
proper name, but they actually use henbane or HB for short, or AKA the witch's plant.
Okay, hold on. Let's see what this is about.
And forgive me, I cannot see chat right now, so.
It's okay. I can't either at times, but people know that.
Of
So
course, they're probably all thinking I'm crazy
please
as a loon.
forgive me. Oh, what did I want to share? This one. All right.
Henbane.
Overview is a
Yes.
plant. The leaf, flowering tops, and seeds are used to make medicine. But henbane contains chemicals that are poisonous, particularly in high doses. Similar to dioptase, right?
Yes.
Don't
Exactly.
confuse henbane, sometimes called like fetid nightshade or stinking nightshade, with bittersweet nightshade or deadly nightshade. Belladonna. Oh yeah, the belladonna, that's
hmm
very
Very toxic plant.
Yeah. Henbane is used for stomach pain, stomach ulcers, muscle cramps, and other conditions, but there is no good scientific evidence to support these uses. How does it work? Henbane contains chemicals such as his hyoscyamine and
I know
read
we're
that,
not scientists.
which might relax the muscles lining the digestive tract. Henbane might also relieve muscles and have a calming effect. If doses are too high, these chemicals can be poisonous.
So
Oh,
what I found with henbane, also looking into it more, it affects the central nervous system and it causes pupil dilation. And these can last anywhere from 24 to 72 hours. All these, it leads to restlessness and then hallucinations. It could leave you in a coma, but you're still able to function at the right dose. You're just not aware of what you're doing. So you're kind of in a hypnotic state with this plant.
like Dahmer style, making
Yes.
zombies.
Yes. So I'm not sure. I mean, the stem and the leaves are toxin. The seeds can be crushed. So was this used to possibly, and I'm just saying what I think it might be used for, there's no facts for this, used to maybe put over Shanann in order to get her into this semi-coma state to leave the home? I don't know. It's
Where
a
are
very,
these?
very toxic plant. Just breathing it will affect you.
Where are they growing?
They grow all over the place. Matter of fact, I believe there was a couple in Canada. Oh God, I can't remember the year, but they were an older couple, and they were picking turnips. Um, and they accidentally had one of these plants when they were making their meal, and both ended up in the hospital. Um, Nothing showed up in their blood work or anything. They just knew that they were trying to pull their IVs out. They were very restless for 2 to 3 days. Um, they had sent someone to their home because they had told them she was making a turnip soup, and they took a sample of the soup, and that's where they had found the henbane in. It was just growing wild in their garden, and she thought it was a turnip plant.
Oh, wow. What about, if that if that stuff was given to Chris?
It
Do you think
quite
that's a
possibly could be. It can be, um
What happens if you overdose on this? Would it kill you?
it will kill you. It will kill you. It will lead to coma and, death at too
Oh,
high of a
wow.
dose.
Yeah, then my next question would be, is it traceable in autopsy?
And that I'm trying to find out. I'm not a scientist, so I'm trying to break down all the chemical, barriers to it. I don't know if it can show up as, uh, alcohol in the spleen, if it's drank. I know they can drink it, they can use it in incense, which will also have an effect on them if you burn it. Um, they can smoke it, they can eat it, um, they can smell it. It's that toxic of a plant.
Wow. Oh my
But
goodness.
but a lot of the witches do use it in their black magic to help them get into that frame of mind. They'll usually burn it in the form of an incense and go around in the circle and spread this incense amongst their followers.
But it's not toxic when I touch it or something, right?
It can be absorbed into your bloodstream by touching it, yes. Um, what they in the medical field, they've done experiments on like pain patches, low doses of this plant in pain patches to help control pain, mostly for people with MS,
Hmm.
Parkinson's, to help relax their muscles.
You know, when I see this picture, like in particular, I think of Survey 319 somehow. I don't know.
Well, we know NK was into her plants.
Yes, absolutely. She had her phone, image folder full of different plants, and we don't know which ones. But this is something, that looks like it grows everywhere. Why not at
This
Survey 319?
is written so many times in Crowley's writings. This particular plant, in his books of well, actually, he didn't write the Book of Shadows. Here's an interesting factoid: a lot of these Wiccan books are written by a person named Robert Kessinger. There's a Kessinger publication that writes
What
all
a
about
coincidence.
Wiccan religion. Yes.
I mean, if you see it like that, they almost look like sunflowers. So, at first glance, if you see that image right here,
It's a beautiful
if you look
plant.
quickly, they do look alike. I mean,
Hmm.
they
Well,
they
there's the
probably
black and the
not,
white.
not to be
I,
confused with sunflowers,
hmm
but they really look alike.
But they're all very,
Crazy
very
stuff.
poisonous. So that's the notes I put together for this live.
Awesome.
I just find it a little strange that with the volcanoes and the wedding dress and the children and Shanann being pregnant
Yeah.
and the rituals and the dates, that to me it's just too many coincidences. The fact that there are probably 4 or 5 uh, covens
I don't.
under this OTO in the Aurora and surrounding areas,
Yeah. I don't
the
believe in
sand dunes.
coincidences anymore in this case.
Um,
I
Chris
don't.
saying that him being at her apartment one time, she had a lot of dark people there. It's just, I don't
Well,
know.
isn't that what Cadel said?
Cato did, and I believe at the back of her book she has all his letters that she had sent to him, and he actually does write that.
In the second book, yeah.
Yes, in the second
Yeah.
book.
I always take her with a grain of salt because she did put a lot in the book what he actually never said. But the second book, well, we have proof in his handwriting that he did say these things. So yeah, I just don't believe in that in coincidence anymore in this case. I
I
truly
believe
don't.
Chris is okay. He talks biblical. Maybe he's trying to find himself. Maybe he's trying to repent. I don't know. I don't know where his mind is at. I can't even guess. I do believe he feels guilty, and he does want to come clean. I believe he may be threatened by these people or his family. I
I don't
I
know.
This case is just so crazy, but digging into this aspect of it, which TJ knows, I've always said, talked about it, and the things that I've seen visually working along with Kelly, and the things that I've shown Kelly, um, tend to lead me to this was a whole ritual that was set up. Chris was blindsided. Chris was made to be center of attention for this. Whether or
Yeah,
not he did or did not
yeah.
kill anybody, we don't know. That has to come out of his mouth.
I think the whole family was, think about her looking up the family in 2017. That's no coincidence. And it has
I
nothing to
agree.
do with an old phone or with a work phone or anything like this.
I
it's all
agree.
bullshit. She looked them up in 2017, and you cannot make a sense out of this.
She took him camping to her group with her group of people.
Right. No, it's just crazy. All right, you guys, I wanted to do an hour or two, and now it's 3 hours. My son has a football game in the morning. I want to attend and cheer him, scream his name on the side of the field. And I have to be awake for that. Anyways, it was very, very nice to see you guys in here after my little comeback. And again, I do apologize for last week that I had to reschedule the stream. I'm gonna show you real quick what we're gonna talk about next week, Friday. We're gonna talk about where's my window? Here it is. We're gonna talk about, I mean, I already did a video about the ransacked office, but with new stuff being put together and new documents, I would say, or evidence. I mean, I knew that the stuff existed, but you know me, I always need something in writing or hard proof before I show anything. So the morning of Who Was in the House, we talk about hidden evidence, mysterious phone calls, contradicting statements, and a ransacked office. And we're gonna do that next week, Friday. Same time, same place, 11 my time, that's 10 in the UK, and that's 5 p.m. Eastern, I believe. And then we're gonna go take a closer look at NA and all the occurrences in the house that morning. With that being said, thank you so much for joining me tonight on this little live stream of 3.5 hours.
Thank you,
Thanks.
TJ, for doing this.
No problem at all. I think this needs a part 2 anyway. I don't think we're done with this. The more we find out, the more you dig, the more you can, show and talk about possibilities. Not saying it's a fact, it's just a possibility. Yeah, have a great weekend, you guys. Have a great Sunday. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Stay true to yourself, stay out of drama, and I see you guys Friday for sure. Love you. Bye-bye.